In this verse, the deity Krishna reveals his cosmic form to the warrior Arjuna. And Arjuna is both awed by it and terrified by looking at his supreme form. He is overwhelmed by that sight of destruction and death. But that's divine that we're talking about. Now I become death, the destroyer of the worlds. These words are a paraphrase of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11:32, and quoted by Oppenheimer in the movie Oppenheimer. Now, originally in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says this quote to Arjuna when he showcases his supreme self to Arjuna. But when Oppenheimer quoted this after witnessing the first successful test of an atomic bomb in 1945, and he said this quote from chapter 11, verse 32, while looking at this erupting fireball from the atomic bomb, it drew controversies, especially after watching this movie, which has been based on this true incident. In this verse, the deity Krishna reveals his cosmic form to the warrior Arjuna. And Arjuna is both awed by it and terrified by looking at his supreme form. He is overwhelmed by that sight of destruction and death. But that's divine that we're talking about. And when Oppenheimer claims to be symbolic of being divine, then it stirred up some emotions in many people. Hi, I'm Neeti Keswani, author of bestselling book Live Your Dreams, and your host for Luxury Unplugged Podcast. If you are a spiritual seeker or someone curious about ancient teachings, that is what we explore on this channel. This is a unique opportunity for you to not only explore the profound wisdom of various scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita, but also apply its timeless knowledge to your business endeavors. And all of this within your busy schedule. So let's get started. And today we are exploring that what nuggets can we draw from the movie Oppenheimer, which practically to my mind has been made more like a documentary, more than a biopic, which just talks about various events in Oppenheimer's life, but fails to talk about the profound impact of what he had done. Christopher Nolan's film has done something good also. It has rekindled the effect, the impact of our ancient scriptures that have been there for time and beyond time. But we have sort of let it fade away from our memories. Unless somebody from foreign lands comes across and talks about knowing Bhagavad Gita, can recite it very well, can quote verses from it, and then our interest is ignited in it. Just like perhaps yoga. Anyways, it does draw our interest in our own ancient scriptures and what we can draw from it in our day-to-day life. Next nugget that we can think about this movie Oppenheimer is that its impact is significantly different from what the movie perhaps aimed to achieve. It did not specify clearly that Oppenheimer learned Sanskrit to understand Bhagavad Gita. He could not only translate it into English, he used it often to think, to basically quote, and to quote something from some particular scripture, you need to understand that scripture very well. So perhaps he used to justify his actions through something which was beyond you and me, beyond him as well. And he wanted to justify whatever he was doing by either putting the responsibility on the political leaders of the time or on something divine, that he is doing his call of duty and it is the divine who's making him do this. So Oppenheimer's use of this quote reflects his profound awareness of the immense destructive power that had been unleashed because he created the atomic bomb. And by drawing a parallel between this devastation caused by the bomb and the imagery of destruction in Bhagavad Gita, he is acknowledging the moral and ethical implications of his work and the grave consequences of the nuclear weaponry of the time, but he sort of sweeps it all under the rug by thinking about his work as call of duty and making it sort of being the responsibility of the political leaders of the time. He talks about his reflection of the potential for both creation and destruction inherent in the human endeavors, but at the same time, he did not want to take the responsibility of the impact that he was creating. And he did cause massive destruction. Aside from the arguments around this particular movie and Oppenheimer's work and Bhagavad Gita, this is actually a chance to think about something really important to all of us in our day-to-day lives. You see, when atomic bombs drop on cities like Hiroshima and Nagasaki and cause deaths in numbers which are beyond hundreds of thousands, and it causes terrible consequences for those who survive, it is a food for thought for all of us to proclaim our social responsibility for our actions. Not all of us are creating atomic bombs in our day-to-day lives, but a lot of us are doing something very, very impactful in our day-to-day lives. How is it serving the society at large? How is it helping the people at large? Are we doing something positive in our life? Is what we need to understand. And should the scientists speak about important issues in our society, or can they just brush it off and lay the responsibility on the political leaders? Can they take a stand and say that this is something ethical and I am socially responsible for this, and so this action will not be taken or should be taken, or simply let it go as a call of duty? Now, this is an important narrative that has been swished away from the main movie, but it is about the ethics of our political leaders who knowingly or unknowingly cause harm and did cause harm at the time. Lastly, his use of quote from Bhagavad Gita reflects his introspection on the consequences of his work. It should make us all understand the intertwined meaning of science, spirituality, and our sense of responsibility. Are these linked together? And how can we use the scriptures, science, and spirituality to make our lives better? And not only our lives better, not only going for the bigger goal to be known, to have power, but also to create something amazing in life that can benefit people. It shows how people can create amazing things, but can also have the power to cause harm. This movie is a reminder to be careful with what we do and how it can impact the world. Should we be wielding the luxury of power that comes with great responsibility, or let it all sweep under the rug by misquoting it from our scriptures, blaming it on some or the other person? I leave you with this food for thought. If you like this video, then like, subscribe, and keep coming back for more videos.